Bosses are some of the most satisfying and oftentimes most rewarding points in video games. Whether it be the opportunity to finally defeat the largest source of trouble for you up to this point, or a simple way to change up the gameplay, boss fights can be the most memorable part of a game. But what happens when all of the hype and build up to a boss fight ends with something disappointing, far too difficult, or just plain insulting to the player? My name is Combat Bird, and this is a test episode for a new series where we take a look at some of the worst fights in video game history. Recently, I was playing through the game Sonic Adventure DX for a video I'd planned on uploading to the channel. I remember playing this game as a kid, and while I enjoyed it then, I was sure that it probably hadn't aged well, especially knowing that even today the Sonic community is pretty torn on whether it's a good game or not. But I wanted to play it again and see for myself. So I make my way through the Sonic story mode, nothing too difficult, and surprisingly few bugs compared to what I remember. That is, until we reach the final boss. Enter the Egg Viper, a massive mechanical viper that Eggman can use in conjunction with his Eggmobile. This encounter has gotta be one of the worst boss fights that I've ever played, and here's why. The Egg Viper fight itself is pretty simple. Eggman will throw a variety of attacks at you, eventually giving you a chance to strike. Nothing crazy here, it's a very traditional route for a boss fight to go, just a giant waiting game. Eggman will fly up to your level, shoot a couple of lasers that can be easily avoided before giving you a chance to attack. Not so bad, right? This fight doesn't have very many attacks, but that probably wouldn't even be bad if it weren't so noticeable due to the fact that he won't stop shouting the same singular line. Each move has one line. It wouldn't be that hard to give him one extra, even for the time at which this game came out. Anyways, once he's done spazzing out, he'll pop back up with the goal of firing a giant laser at you, while conveniently also making a pathway that only someone like Sonic could use to get across. Once he's done that, it's as simple as using your homing attack to get to him, and then you die. Nice. There's nothing I enjoy more than dying from something that wasn't my fault. Okay, once you've made it back to where you were and the game doesn't cheat you out of hitting him, you may see his next move. In this one, he stops the Viper next to the bridge and shoots a laser at you. The move is kind of deceptive though, in the way that it doesn't make a ton of sense. He locks his aim onto you as you run around before eventually stopping. So, you'd think he'd shoot in the location he stopped, right? Nope, the laser can shoot almost anywhere anyways. There wasn't even a point to him stopping early. I'll go ahead and overlook this for now, since it's still a pretty easy move to avoid. After bonking him a few more times, he'll eventually go into his next phase. He'll now attack from the bridge by either riding across, shooting easy to avoid lasers at you, or he'll use the giant spiked wheels, which just kind of float at you menacingly. However, they do float at you quickly, and if they hit you, it's quite likely they'll knock you off the bridge, and you'll have to start over. Don't worry, it only takes 2 minutes of hearing his annoying voice lines and avoiding his easily dodgeable moves to get back to this point. Unless, of course, you fall through the shooting stage! Okay. So a couple of more minutes wasted, and you're back to where you are. This time, you're ready to land on the giant menacing spike wheels. Once you land on them, they can be tricky if you move around since they're always spinning. Let them pull you back to Eggman and give him the old 1-2 hedgehog headbutt. But as we all know, Eggman is a very angry egg, so he goes ahead and destroys the opposite bridge. No problem, of course, that just means that I'll have to beat him on this one. Okay, I guess I should have seen that coming, right? That one's my fault. He just broke the opposite bridge, why wouldn't he break the one I'm standing on? How silly of me. Well, let's get back to where we were. Alright, I should only have to hit him one more time. Yes, finally! I'm finally done with this stupid boss fight. Now I can move on to the other stories of the game. You can actually play as Tails, Amy, Knuckles, even... Don't worry guys, it'll only take 3 minutes to get back to this point. Dear Lord, This entire fight was a giant mess. It doesn't have much variety, it's pretty tedious, there's constantly the same annoying voice lines, and maybe I'm just unlucky, but there also seems to be a chance for the game to just kill you whenever it feels like it. I had a great time with the entire Sonic story, up until this fight. Alright guys, that is it for today's video. This is just an idea for a series and isn't necessarily something I'll do more of, but if people want me to, then please let me know down in the comments. I hope you all enjoyed it, and as always, have a wonderful rest of your day.